Okay, let's say that you want to borrow some money and you know how much you can afford to make in payments. How much can you afford to borrow? That's one application of the present value function. Um, so here's the example we're going to be looking at this time. We know that we can afford to pay $500 a month. We also know that we can borrow money at 6%, and we will make monthly payments at the end of every month. The loan will be paid back over a period of 5 years, and when we get done, we'll pay it all off, so the future value will be zero. How much can you afford to borrow with those $500 payments and these other conditions? Well, the regular deposit is 500, and again, what we're trying to find out is how much we can borrow. When you're borrowing money, the amount that you borrow is always the present value, so that's X'd out, and we'll compute it over here. Number of periods per year, and again, it's usually monthly, but it's not always, so don't just assume that it's 12. Make sure you read the problem carefully. The number of years is 5 years. The annual interest rate is 6%. We're going to pay the loan off, so the ending balance or the future value will be zero. And right now, this is calculated for me. It's going to be 12 times 5 years times periods per year. It gives me 60. And this is also calculated for me. If I double click on this, it is the annual interest rate divided by the number of periods per year, which gives me 0.5%. And we're going to be making our payments at the end, which is zero, end of each month. And now that we've computed all of this, or entered all of this, now we can go over here and we can use a function to compute how much money we can afford to borrow. It's the present value function. It's going to be on the formulas tab in the financial group, and we need to scroll down to the P's, and there's the PV function. And now it's simply a matter of just pointing to the boxes over here. Once you've identified all of the numbers, filling in the function arguments is pretty straightforward. So our rate is going to be the rate per period, remember. The number of periods we've computed. The payment is always a negative, so put a minus sign in front of it. And that's B3. Future value is when we have the loan paid off. And the type is going to be this down here. Click on OK. And if we can afford to pay $500 in monthly payments, with all of these other factors, the amount that we can afford to borrow right now is $25,862.